Hi fans, and welcome to this Week 8 edition of the Woodland Hills Football Network pregame show. Last Friday night, Woodland Hills traveled to Cannonsburg and shut out the Big Macs 34-0. They clinched a playoff spot with that victory over Canon-Mac. This week, the Wolverines host the Peters Township Indians in a senior rec night matchup. We're going to sit down with Woodland Hills head coach George Novak to review last week's victory over Canon-Mac, preview this week's game against Peters Township, and also let you see highlights of last Friday night's game. All of that and more on the pregame show right here on the Woodland Hills Football Network. Jones off of play action, steps up into the pocket. He will look down that far sideline. David in double coverage, leaps up, grabs a hold of the football, and runs into the end zone for a 41-yard Woodland Hills touchdown. Smith is pressured, hit, wrapped, sacked, and brought down. Tompkins bobbles it for a moment at the 46, picks it up. He eludes one Big Mac at that 41-yard line as he comes to the near side. He finds some room inside of the 40, the 35, the 30. Still on his feet to the 25-yard line, and he will be brought down. Tompkins had his legs wrapped for a moment. He'll spring through a hole, and Art Tompkins into the end zone for the touchdown. Jones off of play action, rolls to his left. Steps up, he'll heave-ho it down the middle. It's caught by Joel Shaw. Handoff, Sanders on the counter. Surges his way forward, still on his feet, inside of the 5, and into the end zone he will go. Smith off of play action. He'll be hit, he'll be wrapped, and he will be sacked. Handoff will go to Joel Shaw. He'll bounce off of one blue jersey, still on his feet as he drives his way forward, dragging blue jerseys with him. Miles Sanders bouncing to the outside, picks up a nice block by Art Tompkins, and there goes Miles Sanders off to the races inside of the 40, the 35, the 30, and they're going to say Miles Sanders stepped on the sideline at the 28-yard line. Handoff goes to Joel Shaw. He'll spring his way through a hole. A snap high, though, goes through the hands of Smith, and the Wolverines will recover. They'll run the option again. Picnic to the far side. No room this time as the Wolverines sniffed it out. Handoff to Joel Shaw, bursting his way forward, rumbling to the 45-yard line. Play action. Jones pressure to lose that pressure, runs to the far sideline. He'll come to the near side now. First down yardage and more. There goes Jeremiah Jones, spun down inside of the 35. Sanders will take the handoff straight up the middle. He'll burst through a hole, pick up first down yardage and more. And the quarterback is pressured. Hutchin running to the near side. Eludes one Wolverine, but is brought down by a Kyra McLean. Play action. Jeremiah runs to his right, throws to his right. Tompkins is open. Slips through a double team and is brought down inside of the 25-yard line. And Jones will throw the ball to his right-hand side. Catching the pass is Isaiah Brooks. Hutchin running to the near sideline. He'll be wrapped and he will be sacked. Snap goes awry. It's loose on the ground. The Wolverines pick it up. Down that far sideline is Dejon Brown with the football. Hutchin is brought down in the backfield. Hutchin pressured. Steps to his left. He'll be hit. He'll be wrapped and he will be brought down by a trio of Wolverines. Jones off of play action. Steps forward, throws the pass complete to Mike Smith, the tight end. Handoff Miles Sanders, dancing his way forward, still on his feet as he picks up a first down. Jones throws near side. Tompkins leaps up, grabs a hold inside of the 40, still on his feet, 35-30, 25, and spun down at the 24-yard line. Nigel Henderson, the ball carrier, bouncing to the outside and into the end zone. He will go. Broken play. The Wolverines sniff it out, and James Eggleston manhandles Alec Hutchin. Hutchin retreating. He'll be wrapped. He'll be sacked. Handoff will go to our Tompkins at the tailback spot, and there goes our Tompkins down the far sideline. 40, 50, 40, cutting it back, 30, 25, still on his feet, 20, 15, 10, still on his feet to the 5, and he will go end over end at the 2-yard line. Handoff, Joel Shaw into the end zone for the 2-yard touchdown. Snap a little high off the play action, goes Moore and Miles. He'll run to his left, he'll find an open receiver. That receiver is Asan Ghanem. Again, your final score, Woodland Hills shuts out the Canon-Mac Big Macs in Cannonsburg, Pennsylvania, 34-0. Woodland Hills is now 5-2 on the year, 5-1 in Southeastern Conference play. Hi again, fans, and welcome back to this Week 8 edition of the Woodland Hills Football Network pregame show. We're now sitting down with Woodland Hills head coach George Novak. And Coach Novak, before we talk about this week's game against Peters Township, let's take a look back to Friday's game against Canon-Mac. A big victory, and it wasn't exactly the most well-played game, but you had 5 Wolverines that scored touchdowns.
Yeah, our kids, I thought, played real well. Defensively, we played well. Special teams played well. We got a lot of players to play. Everybody got in the game, and everybody got a chance to excel.
I guess what I meant by not well played was it wasn't the cleanest game we've seen all season, but one player that played very well, especially surprisingly in his first start, was Jeremiah Jones.
Yeah, Jeremiah has a lot of potential, and he's our backup quarterback. He's only a sophomore. He got some action last year. He's got a little bit of action this year, but he came into the game. Harry got hurt last week, 2 weeks ago, and he came in and he had to start this game, so he had a full week of work with the varsity team and did an outstanding job leading the team as a quarterback, leading the offense, and threw some nice passes. He was spot on with all his passes, and did some nice things running the football too. So, we were real happy with the way he played.
Art Tompkins chipped in with over 200 all-purpose yards. Great special teams. He caught the ball out of the backfield pretty well, and obviously running the ball, he did very well also.
Yeah, Art's kind of an unsung hero. I don't think people realize the ability he has. As a running back, as a defensive back, as a kick return guy, as a receiver. And one thing about Art, he works real hard at practice every day. And I think, it showed in the game that he has a lot of ability. I think he's one of our fastest players, and it's nice to have him with the ball in his hand in open field.
Miles Sanders got shaken up in the football game, but still rushed for over 1,000 yards or over 100 yards, and now he's approaching that 1,000-yard mark.
Yeah, Miles, in the third quarter, he bruised his foot, and we took him out and decided it'd be best to hold him out the rest of the game. And we iced it. He took X-rays and everything, and MRI, and he'll be fine. But we're going to hold him out this week. Hopefully, he'll be 100% next week.
Obviously, he wants to reach that goal of 1,000 yards before the regular season is over. Talk about that plateau. That's something very special, especially for a sophomore running back.
Yeah, we don't talk about numbers. I don't make decisions on who's carrying the ball or anything, and he's earned them. When the game, all his yards are earned when the game's at hand, because once the game's in hand, he's not going to, be in the game that much longer, because we don't want him to get hurt like he did last week.
You talked about Harry Randall being out of the lineup last week. Will he return?
Yeah, Harry was out with an ankle injury, and he rehabbed it. Probably could have played last week, but we held him out, and he'll be coming back this week for Peters Township.
Coach, let's talk about the defensive performance against Canon-McMillan, one of the best defensive performances I've ever seen. You held the Big Macs to less than 0 yards total.
Well, I think, the big thing was we weren't happy defensively against Baldwin. They had an outstanding passing attack, and, we weren't happy with the way, the points they scored. And defense worked real hard. I give Coach Donofrio a lot of credit. They put together a good game plan. They were able to shut down the run and the pass.
Let's talk about the special teams. That kick coverage much improved over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, we changed some things around on a kickoff and punt coverage. Well, we didn't have to punt, but the kick coverage, and Coach Whitehurst did a nice job with that, and the kids bought into it and did a nice job.
Coach, before we talk about Peters Township in general, let's talk about it being senior night at the Wolverines. Some special seniors this year, as always.
Yeah, it's always a special night for the seniors. We only got 14 seniors, but a lot of them have been here, for 3 years, and they've worked very hard. And this is their special year, and their parents will be here and their families. And this year, our superintendent, Mr. Johnson, had a great idea to invite all the elementary schools and middle schools and all the schools and have signs for them at the stadium, and invited all the teachers to come up and see off the guys they taught at the lower grades. So, it's a family type atmosphere, and I'm excited about it for the kids.
It's going to be a big game as well. Peters Township comes in with a winning record. They're 4-3 on the year, and they scored some serious points against Plum, Baldwin, Shaler, and Mount Lebanon.
Oh yeah, they put some points on the board. We knew last year they had a good football team, and it was young, and you got a big offensive line, physical team. Quarterback's outstanding. He throws and runs the football. They got nice size at the skill positions, a couple fast running backs. They can put some points on the board. Defensively, very, very physical team. They're bringing the house every play. We got to pick up our assignments and block smart this week, because they're going to be bringing a lot of people at us. And what happens when you stun a lot, if you make a play, it could be a big play from anywhere on the field.
Coach, is there ever any concern at the high school level with a kind of a revenge factor after last year, traveling down to Peters Township and really putting it to the Indians, that they come back with even more enthusiasm?
Well, I think it's a big game for them, because they're in the hunt for playoff spot. The more games you win, the higher seed you'll get in the playoffs. And even after they made the playoffs last year, they went to Gateway and gave them a good football game last year. And Gateway had a great team last year, but Peters played them very tough. And I expect a very tough game this week. It's been a good rivalry. They gave us some trouble last year a little bit on a running game, but we kind of got it going after a while. But they put a lot of people in the box and kind of force you to do some different things. And we've worked hard on some things this week, and hopefully they pan out.
You mentioned the playoffs, so I'm going to continue that. Obviously, you win 2 more games, you clinch second place in the Southeastern Conference and get a home game in the playoffs.
We don't look ahead at anybody, but we got a tough game with Peters, and we got a tough game with Penn Hills, so we take them one at a time. Peters and Penn Hills got a couple tough games, and Peters this is their last conference game, I believe, so or they play Canon-McMillan after us, so this is their whole season right now, where they finish in the playoffs, so we got to be ready for them.
Looking back a couple of weeks ago, we talked about Darren Walls playing for the New York Jets. Let's talk about him getting a start against the Steelers.
That's just a great feeling for him and his family, and for us. Darren's a great kid, one of the nicest kids we ever had here at Woodland Hills, and had a great career at Notre Dame, and then he went on to play for the Falcons, and now he's with the Jets. And they said he's one of the top corners in the NFL, cover guys coming into the season. So we're real proud of Darren and everything he's done.
And it's got to be great that he's now really earned that starting spot for the Jets.
Yeah, they've had some great corners, and for him to beat out somebody is just fantastic.
Coach Novak, thanks a lot for your time, and good luck this week against Peters Township. We'll talk to you again next week before the game against Penn Hills.
Thanks a lot, Adam.
We'll be right back with more of the pregame show here on the Woodland Hills Football Network. Again, fans, we thank you for joining us for this Week 8 edition of the Woodland Hills Football Network pregame show. If you can't make it to Senior Rec at the Wolverines this Friday night, you can tune in on our flagship radio station, AM 1550 WZUM. We'll have live television and radio coverage on our website at woodlandhillsfootballnetwork.com. Our live radio broadcast is available on the MSA Sports Network at msasports.net. Unfortunately for fans viewing on Monroeville Comcast Cable Channel 13, due to a scheduling conflict, we will not be able to have the game live for you on television, so you'll have to tune in on one of our web affiliates. Folks in Penn Hills on Comcast Cable Channel 98 or on Verizon Fios Channel 37, we will have our cable radio broadcast available for you live on TV. And of course, we'll have replays throughout the week on all of our television affiliates and our YouTube channel. For everybody at the Woodland Hills Football Network, I'm Adam Gusky, and we'll see you next week. This has been a presentation of the Woodland Hills Football Network. Watch us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and as always, visit us at woodlandhillsfootballnetwork.com.